Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums in the co-captain's chair. Once again, all the way from the UK, Mr. Simon Bray. Good afternoon, Simon. I almost said good morning. It's bright and early here in New York, but I know by you, it's just getting past noon, right?
Yep, half the day's already gone.
There you go. So what do you guys do in the UK for like the lunchtime break? Is that like sandwiches, tea and crumpets? What exactly is it?
Well, as a day job's teaching, I tend not to get much in the way of lunch. You know what I mean? Yeah. Plus, there's a debate in the UK at the moment whether office workers are going back. So going back to actual work after COVID. So the whole go to prep for a sandwich thing might be a thing of the past. Who knows?
No, boy. Yeah. Got to take that break for something, right? I usually I work from home, so come lunchtime, if I don't have like a meeting or something like that, I usually go pop out to the gym, and then I come back and have something quick to eat and get back to work. But yeah, it depends on every country is different. You go to like Spain or Italy, that time of the day is like everybody's just getting up, and it's time for a little nap and a big long meal and all that kind of stuff. I don't think we really have that luxury to take all that kind of time, and I wish I did. That'd be kind of fun, but anyway, we digress. All right, enough of this lunchtime talk. Today we're going to talk all about the UK band 10, one of the great melodic rock bands of the last 25 years or so, led by the very, very talented man of a mighty voice, Mr. Gary Hughes. So Simon, you want to fill us in on a little bit of kind of history of this band, and then we'll get into our ranking the top 5 albums of them.
Yeah, they've been around, like you say, since about 1995. Formed not that far from where I'm sat now. Certainly hanging around in Fleetwood now, and Blackpool, the Fylde Coast. They've made, like you say, so many albums. I think 14 actual studio albums, some live stuff. Yeah, Gary Hughes is the main man. He's a prolific little individual. He really is. There's all these 10 albums. He wrote the first few Bob Catley albums. He's got a solo career. I'm reliably informed he sings as like a kind of Sinatra tribute act in Blackpool, or he did before they.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really? Wow.
I believe so. I've never seen it. It's not my bag. As we were discussing off air, I think the band very much came along at exactly the wrong time for the type of music that they make. But nonetheless, an excellent band that people might want to investigate, especially if they like that melodic side of rock. And if you like keyboards, then they've got that. And if you like really, really, really long songs, they can do that as well. So yes.
Yeah, it's funny, and we could totally deviate the entire conversation this way, but 10 is not the only band that have come around in the last 25 or 30 years that, like kind of pay homage to that big mid 1980s sound, the big choruses and the big guitar riffs and the big voice, and then the nice keyboards and the melodies and the ballads. I mean, they do all of that. But, a lot of these bands that do that are like kind of, dipping into that era that I know a lot of people miss. I mean, a lot of people our age, love that stuff, and that's really where they're at. But the masses have kind of moved on from that, right? So you look at a band like 10 and you listen to these albums and these songs and you think, man, if this album came out in 1985, 86, 87, or 88, it does huge business. But in 99, 2010, 2021, you got like a small audience that really loves it and appreciate it. And it's kind of a shame because the songwriting and the talent is there, but it's just the music from a bygone era that, to folks like us still sounds great. But a good chunk of the people who were really into that type of stuff back then have already moved on to other things, or they've had kids, and the kids have gone to college and they're working 9-to-5 jobs, and they're just as happy going and listening to their Mr. Big album and their Whitesnake album and their Night Ranger albums from the past, and that's good enough, right? So and that, I get it, right? I get it, but I think for folks watching who have never listened to the band 10, there's some really, really good material here. Really fun album, super catchy. Simon mentioned long songs. I mean, almost every album starts off with like a 7 to 10 minute long track, which is great. There's also, do they even do 4 or 5 minute songs?
They do occasionally.
Occasionally, right?
Written that down somewhere. For one of my choices, there's actually the odd album where everything's about 5 or 6 minutes ish.
Yeah,
A long one. So yeah.
I mean, we talked the other day.
I'm actually quite confident that might be one of the reasons why they're not super popular, because even the recent singles have been super long.
Yeah.
Terrible videos, by the way. But really, it must have cost about 8 pence, some of those. But really, I think it's really commercial. The real sing-along, proper hooks, melodies, and everything. But I don't think I've ever seen a 10 record actually in a shop.
Yeah, I hear, forget it. I mean,
Right.
so surprisingly by you. I mean, and a good chunk of their catalog is on Frontiers Records, which you can find some Frontier stuff in the rare CD and record shops here. But 10 are like by no means a household name here at all. They're probably not even a name out there in the desert. Nothing. It's like people just don't know this band. It's a real shame. And I wanted to bring up a point. We talked the other day on the show we did a couple of days ago about the length of CDs and how so many bands fall into that trap of these 60, 65, 70-minute long CDs that with some of us who have an attention span deficit can be a challenge. I will say these albums are pretty long too, but they don't feel it because every track is so engaging and just kind of pulls you in, and they're really, really fun listens. So I don't get the kind of long album fatigue with these guys, which I guess is a good thing. And it's a kind of a testament to their songwriting. So in saying all that, as Simon mentioned, a lot of studio albums, we've each picked out our top 5. This was almost impossible to do because I could make a case for any of their albums at being in the top 5 because they're all really, really good. But in the end, I had to kind of just pick the ones that maybe speak to me a little bit more. So I'll have Simon kick us off with his number 5.
Well, you can ask me to do that, but I'm not going to do it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cheat, right? I'm going to cheat because their early albums, because what we want people to do is go away from this and think, I'm going to have a listen to some 10. And it's really quite difficult. It's really, really difficult to find their early albums, even on streaming. So what they did quite some time ago, he said, reaching for it, is they re-recorded quite a lot of their stuff. Between the Essential Collection 1995 to 2005, where you can find some of their greatest hits in a re-recorded kind of form. Now, I do remember when this came out, there was all sorts of discussion about the supposedly terrible production, and the drum sound isn't great. But song-wise, great, really good place to start. No idea if you can get it because it is on Frontiers, but all the early stuff redone there, which leaves me to really kind of place most of my top 5 in the recent stuff, because I think the recent stuff's really good, really, really, really strong for a band that's 25 years old. So that said, my number 5, I've got 2 things in front of me, so I'm going to go with 2012's Heresy and Creed. That's a decision that I have just made. Right now. And I've actually somewhere been and got almost 10 CDs, and I don't know where I've put this one and the next one, but if I find them, I'll hold them up. Heresy and Creed, bizarrely enough, got 4 stars from me when I reviewed that 9 years ago.
No, can you believe it? Yeah.
And you know what? It's been up on the web all the damn time. Yes. Yes, indeed.
All the damn time, my friend. There you go.
All the damn time. I think this is my favorite album of theirs, guitar-wise. There's a guy in the band at that point called Dan Mitchell, and he was so good. I believe it hurt his hand and couldn't play guitar and left. But just what an excellent record. Loads of, like I said, melody. I think the single was Gun Running. Dennis Ward was helping with the production, and that's always a good thing, especially if you've heard the recent Halloween album. He sprinkles a little magic dust all over it, and just a really, really good melodic rock record, released at entirely the wrong time. completely the wrong time. But just excellent guitars as well. Just a good album, really is. Really, Heresy and Creed, 2012.
Yeah, it is a good one. I think for me, I had a really tough time. The early catalog is so great. The latter catalog is so great. We're only doing 5. So it's like, how do we kind of work this? So, and I had a couple, just like you, that I could have put as my number 5. I'm like, do I go with Gothica from 2017 or do I go with Illuminati from 2018? I decided to go at number 5 with Illuminati, which is their most recent effort. God, you would have to think that there's got to be something coming out of the 10 camp in any day now, right? Because it's been 3 years now. It's like,
yeah, but he has just released just the 2 solo albums this year, hasn't he?
Yeah. So
slacker.
I know, right? But Illuminati is a lot of fun. It's again the big soaring vocal harmonies all over this album, just like every album. It's like it's one of those bands where you just come to expect a type of quality, a really top quality, and you get it all the time. The production absolutely stellar. The big larger than life riffs, the symphonic keyboards. You've got like Simon and I mentioned earlier, every album opens up with like this epic length track, which generally 7 to 10 minutes long or something. Here you have Be As You Are Forever, which every album's got an excellent opening track. This is no different. You've got the fast-paced rocker Shield Wall. You got the moody, the esoteric Queen. Jericho is this really cool kind of poppy prog song, which I think is really neat. And they do that very, very well. Title track, big symphonic hard rock gem, raunchy guitars, lots of keyboards, Gary Hughes, amazing vocals. And you got the dramatic Mephistopheles, is that how they say that? I can never pronounce the damn song. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's really good. And then you got Of Battles Lost in One, which is their big, grand, majestic closer. Really strong album, I think. And there's going to be a lot of people watching who are like, all right, I've never listened to this band. You guys are giving me 5 choices. Where's the best place to start? I could tell you start from the beginning of the catalog and work your way up. I could tell you start from Illuminati and work your way back. So either way, you can't lose. So with that said, back to Simon for number 4.
Changed again. And just to keep on the Illuminati theme, there it is, final version. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's well, look at that cover. And I will say most of the album covers for this band are amazing, with the exception of a couple of them. But yeah, look at that cover art. I mean, just spectacular. Yeah.
Yay. Again, I went back to the website, and you gave this a big 4 stars, which I think is a pretty reasonable amount of stars for it. And I think you did describe it as passionate and emotional, and and you talked about the melodies, and that's the key thing with the band. And yeah, pretty muscular as well, like you said, Shield Wall, bam, really punchy song, and more dual lead guitars on this one than others, because quite often in recent times, I think on this one, they've got 3 guitarists in the band.
Yeah, there's a lot of guitars on these records. A lot. Yeah.
I don't necessarily think of them as a guitar band. You don't think they're going to produce the next Freebird or something like that. But there is, like I say, a lot of guitars, and it's very intricate music with layers upon layers upon layers, and like you said, some great tunes on this. Rosetta Stone, but Battles Won and Lost. The final song on this one is only Battles Won and Lost, excellent, about 5 minutes and 45 seconds long. There you go. And there's only one song over 8 minutes, so it's quite concise for them. So a good place to start, I would suggest.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In regards to the guitar sound on a lot of these albums, for me anyway, I think of like Whitesnake's 1987 album, that kind of John Sykes-ish tone, sort of mixed with a little Dan Huff from Giant. The band Giant, which if you like the band Giant, this is not that much different. These just big, really commercial hard rock stuff with tons of hooks all over the place and great vocals. All right, so continuing on with the toughness of trying to put together a list of 5. I ultimately couldn't leave off the debut album, which you could either call it 10 or call it X. I still to this day don't know what the hell they call it. It's this guy right here. All right. That's the debut album from 1996. Starts off with a bang, man. How about that like opening blast of the Crusades, slash It's All About Love, which has this like acrobatic like Van Halen type guitar thing. It's almost like it opens up with like Eruption with their own version of that. Really, really good. And then, great hooks and whatnot. Keyboards come in, big symphonic feel. Gary Hughes vocals, absolutely amazing. After the Love Is Gone kind of sounds like Foreigner-ish, sort of, as does The Torch. Again, they kind of, if you like that sort of, real melodic, catchy, stadium-ready rock music, that's, all about the 80s. I mentioned Foreigner because it kind of, that's Foreigner, very similar format. You'll love this stuff. Stay With Me, big hard rocking. Great hooks and hard rock muscle on the wonderful Can't Slow Down, Lamb to the Slaughter. Real killer chorus, a little bit darker in sound. And then you've got the lengthy track, right, which is the melodic rock meets prog of Soliloquy, The Loneliest Place in the World. A lot of great keyboards and guitar solos and stuff. I think a really, really strong debut that, again, if you want to start off with Illuminati, good choice. If you want to start off with the first album, good choice. You can't go wrong either way. And it's amazing how the band, if you listen to both of those albums that we just talked about, next to each other, they could have come from the same era, right? There's not a ton of difference between them. So, but really solid stuff.
Yeah. Excellent. Am I up to 3? I've got so many notes and albums around here. I'm just making this 5 up as I go along. With 3, I'm going to go with Twilight Chronicles, which clocks in at 71 minutes.
See that?
In mind, our own record is saying that I like albums to be about 40 minutes. Time to reach for the humble pie, isn't it? Really? Yeah. The opening 2 songs together, one of which is one of those like intro kind of things. It's 12 minutes long. Stretching it out a little bit, but it's so well done. Really, you think, well, we could cut few minutes out of this, but let's not.
No,
let's not, because it's so good. Hallowed Grounds, 10 minutes and 17 fun-filled seconds long. This Heart Goes On is actually under 5 minutes, but again, it's the catchiness of the choruses, particularly the Chronicles, which I think references The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And that's always always a fun thing to reference. Don't get many of those references. And as you were saying previously, and I think, as I said in one of my reviews, I think he likes to show off. Gareth Hughes likes to show off that he's quite a well-read kind of chap. There's songs about the Crusades, and clearly he's read some C.S. Lewis and stuff. And I think if I was going to pinpoint another reason why it might not be as popular as possible, the songs are very, very wordy. Very wordy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess if you're going to do 5, 6, 7, 8 minute long songs all the time, you kind of have to be. I mean, they don't rely on lengthy instrumental passages, right? Even though there are plenty of really good musical bits in these songs, these are more vocal driven songs, 100%. Yeah.
I can't believe that this record is 15 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it makes you wonder where time goes, but it stands up really, really well from start to end. Some musical motifs that run throughout the entire album. It's a really good album. It's an album. It's not just a bunch of songs. It's an album that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it's very, very good. I like it.
Yep, I agree. It's definitely a really good one, as all these are. I mean, here's one I can't believe. I'm looking at the date this came out. I can't believe it's been 10 years since they released Storm Warning from 2011. Another great cover. And if just in case you wanted to get a better close-up shot, there you have it. Fantastic album. You got, again, a great kickoff track in Endless Symphony. starts off with a bang, big heavy rock guitars, majestic keyboards, soaring vocals, just, typical 10 opener. You got Center of My Universe, killer chorus. Kingdom Come, another really memorable song. You got Book of Secrets, which is just this rampaging, snarling hard rock song. Absolutely love that. Prog rock with hooks, that's the title track, Storm Running. Check that out. Invisible has some big guitars, but very engaging song. Love Song, speaking of songs, great melodic track. Amazing chorus. Ultra catchy melodic rock meets progressive metal of Destiny. The Darkness is big and upbeat. Not a moment wasted on this album. This is like, I don't know, I could say about any of these albums, but to me, this, even though it's ranked at number 3 and not number 1, this might be the strongest album start to finish of theirs. And this one is not too long. I mean, it's probably like close to an hour, but just amazing songs. Doesn't let up at all.
Yep, I 100% concur, which is why I've now just moved this to number 2, so I can carry on in a similar kind of it. But the song for me is The Hourglass and the Landslide.
Oh yes, I forgot about that one. Yep,
So,
yep.
there is, I think we discussed before, on every album there's an ultra commercial song, and on this one it is The Hourglass and the Landslide. It's just like, I listened to it yesterday, and I was walking around the supermarket later in the day going, look, and I can't imagine there was anybody else in that supermarket thinking, oh, I've got a bit of 10 in my head and there's an earworm, you know what I mean? Which is a shame, because they've got that many great songs, the Endless Symphony is just like, if you to go to the dictionary and look at the word bombastic, it would just be the MP3 of Endless Symphony. And I mean bombastic in a good way. Sometimes it's a bit rubbish, but it just bam, and you got songs here about glory and war and stuff, and big themes and stuff. You'd like to say it's a great record. I don't know why it's not my number 1.
Yeah, I don't either. Would you say, if for anybody watching who has never heard this band, to go listen to one song to turn them on to their music, would you say Endless Symphony is probably a really good place to start?
It's a good one. That or The Robe, or Name of the Rose.
Name of the Rose. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Name of the Rose, my number 2, 1996. I've had this for so long. This is, it's got both excuse me, both albums on one CD. Name of the Rose is their second album. Really good. I mean, the opening title track is just fast and furious melodic hard rock, and of course it's epic length as always. It seems like every album's got one of these. Killer vocals and guitar work on this. It's just so good. You got Wildest Dreams has this big soaring chorus, amazing. Don't Cry, ultra catchy. Turn Around, hooks to die for. Wait for You, got that White Snake sound, not so much in the vocals, but I mean, I think just the arrangements, so to speak. The Rainbow, nice and moody, but still with all those hooks. Killer guitar solo. Through the Fire is another one of the big long songs on here. It's got some nice prog rock keyboards, acoustic guitars. Goodnight Saigon is big and hard rocking. Wings of a Storm has 80s written all over it. This is just a really good 80s sounding album. Standing in Your Light is another really great song, good emotional piece. Outstanding second effort, I think, from the band. And these guys just killed it right out of the park. I mean, just first, second, third album. I mean, just boom, 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 boom. Really great stuff. So another one that I would say, if you want to start with this album, I wouldn't have any problem saying, yep, that's a good choice. Could be my number 1, except my number 1 is my number 1, right?
Yeah. I'm just making this up as I go along. So,
so in other words, all the work you've done over the last couple of weeks, you've thrown out the window this morning, right?
Just this morning. Yeah, just this morning. I've been listening to 10 since about 7 o'clock this morning, because I got up stupidly early, and it's a really strong catalogue.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are people out there who really hate 10. There really are. There are some people out there that cannot stand them, and that's fine. Just don't listen to them, but stop whining about it. Plenty of bands I don't like. That's why I don't come on and talk about them.
Right, exactly.
The ones I like and enjoy. Anyway, my number 1, let's go for it, is and I do not know where I've put it, but I've got it somewhere. Gothica from 2017. It's got arguably more poppy kind of commercially hits kind of songs on there. Hits, not definitely not hits like In My Dream or the brilliantly named La Luna Dracula, which has got a fantastic chorus. It really is, and it's got a really punchy production as well. A couple of the 10 albums actually, I think production, but this one's just excellent. It started strongly with the grill, and I don't think there are enough Latin chants in rock. I really don't. And we start off with that with some arguably pretentious Latin chanting, and I feel like that's a good thing. It's a good thing, because one thing you can't accuse 10 of is not throwing the kitchen sink at everything.
True. Yeah. True.
Okay, guitars, let's have 3. Keyboards, yes, let's make them really, really lush and layered. Hooks, let's make them the biggest hooks ever. That is the beauty of 10. And I think Gothica is the since about 10 past 12, it's been the best of the recent 10 records. It might be because it was the last one I listened to.
There you go. Yeah, it's a good one. And again, we're talking the latter part of the catalog here, right? That's their second to last one. Yeah. Very cool. All right. So my number 1, I'm going to go to the third album from 1997, The Robe. Fantastic album. Once again, opening title track is a blast. Big riffs, soaring vocals, symphonic as all hell, scorching guitars, and it's lengthy, right? Because of course it's got to be, right? It's got to be. You got Bright on the Blade, which is a really, really good hard rock song. Standing on the Edge of Time, to me, feel like 80s Survivor, not that much different, right? It's got Survivor, Foreigner, amazing hooks, just guitar muscle, all that kind of stuff. Virtual Reality's got that kind of dreamy thing going on. You got Arcadia, which is probably as close as they're going to get to prog metal, I think, right? A lot of really good riffs and keyboards. Battle Lines, again, a little heavier. There's some heavy stuff on this album. I think there's some heavier material on this album than the first 2. Some songs approach metal at times. Fly Like an Eagle, it's big, symphonic, but with lots of guitars, lots of vocals, lots of hooks. 10 Fathoms Deep, I hear a little Led Zeppelin on that song, just a little bit. And it's big and lengthy. It's got, it's almost like, funny, because I was listening to this album again yesterday, and I'm like, that song, it's got these Led Zeppelin moments, but then it reminds me of like early like European power metal in spots. Maybe because of the chorus. It's got, I don't know, it's really, really good song, a little bit different for them. And then you got Someday, which has incredible vocals, but it's really moody. I don't know. To me, I could make a case for any of my top 3 being number 1, but I always kept coming back to this one. I was like, yeah, this is probably my favorite. But you ask me tomorrow, I could be singing a different tune. So
ask me in 5 minutes and it'll be
exactly. No, don't even wait till tomorrow. Forget that.
Well, I think what you find, and I think you kind of hit it on the head, is very often
you're still with us.
Excellent. So I have no idea where you've gone with me. Oh, there you go. I'm getting loads of texts from people saying Bruce Dickinson's got COVID. That's what's happening there. So I clicked on one to read them. What you find quite often with bands that start off with the big bombastic opening song is that like the albums tend to trickle away and be a bit rubbish towards the end, and they just shovel all the crap to the end. 10 don't do that.
No.
They're just big and bombastic from start to finish. So if I was to think about my honorable mentions, like for instance, Return to Evermore. Yeah, just solid.
Let's lift that bad boy up a little bit more. I think we only got there you go. Yep. Great. I love that cover. How awesome is that?
Yeah, just solid from beginning to end. This one's even got an additional track on, which is good. And one thing I didn't mention is that I did mention the keyboards, but some of the people that have played keyboards in 10. Don Airy, without actually being a member, I don't think. Paul Hodgson, Jed Rowland, that's in Taiketo now, and now Daryl Treach. But let's try that one more time. Daryl, let's just call him Daryl. Just top quality stuff. And we didn't even barely mention Vinnie Burns being in the band.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
By player he is as well. It's top quality stuff. It really is.
Yeah. And it's funny, a lot of those, especially the early albums, you look at like the roster that appeared on each album, and you talk about having 2-3 guitar players, sometimes 3 or 4 keyboard players. I mean, they don't. Gary spares no expense in getting some of the best players on here.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I also recommend, I think this is the live album. From my God, that's a long time ago. That's
98. Yeah, 98.
I feel so old. But yes, a good solid live set, some studio stuff in there at the end as well. Just a catalogue of joy if you've never actually listened to them. So much for people to discover and enjoy.
Yeah. I think I'm going to play this in the car today, because this is a double disc set and there's a lot of great stuff on here. And this is, the band still kind of fresh out of the gate here, because this was taken from the Name of the Rose and the Robe tours. So, this is early stuff. So I'm going to kind of put that aside here. I mean, geez, how about Babylon? Strong album. This one is a little more, probably a little more keyboard heavy, maybe a little mellower than some of the other, not as muscular as some of the early ones, but still really good as Spellbound, I think. And again, another great cover. You picked Gothica as your number one. That was one of my honorables. I think Gothica is great. Could have made it. The Twilight Chronicles is another good one. Far Beyond the World is also quite good. I mean, geez, you could name just about any of them. They're all really, really solid to very strong to excellent. I mean, so there you have it, everybody. Some places to start with the band 10. Again, we didn't really have the same list at all, considering that we only picked 5, and it's a big catalog. It's pretty cool. So you could start anywhere here. Start from the beginning, start from the end, whatever. Hopefully we'll have another album for them sometime soon. But I do want to mention Gary Hughes has some excellent solo albums as well. And I'm trying to remember, what was the name of the King? He did those 2. That project, oh God, probably about 15 years ago. Not the King. I'm drawing a complete blank now on the name of what are they called?
Tolkien ones.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think Between Us we're having Attack of the Olds, aren't we?
Yes. We have the Olds. Yeah. God, what is the name? Oh, they're so good too. I totally can't even. I'm just drawing a blank. And he's worked with Bob Catley from Magnum quite a bit. And
Bob Catley's first 3 albums are astonishingly good.
Yeah,
they really are. Yep. And a quick look at his discography tells me Once and Future King.
That's it. Yes, I knew it was something to do with King. Yeah, those are really strong, really good, really good.
And if you like pop music, Veritas from 2007 is really good as well. And I think I gave his most recent one quite a few stars as well. Waterside. So, and that's from this year as well. And there's a compilation album of his solo material out this year as well. So that should be relatively easy to find.
Yeah. For now, wait a year, and maybe that won't be the case, right?
Exactly. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, I don't. That's really strange, because Frontiers, I mean, now more than ever. I mean, what have they? Are they going to release like 50 albums this year? They got to be on pace for it. It's like every time I turn around, I'm getting a new email with a new Frontiers release. But they put out like a certain amount. They print a certain amount of CDs, and then literally, like sometimes within a year, maybe 2 at the most, you can't find these anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is strange, But
kind of have to assume it works for them, though.
I guess. I mean, it's a formula. It works. They pump out the stuff, and then it's like, all right, get it now or sayonara. That's it. Right? Yeah. But, but if you're a digital person, I guess you can have it forever, right? But if you're looking for physical copies, that can be a challenge, after a certain time after the release date. So whatever.
Very much so.
So there you have it, everybody. Some recommendations, some rankings on the 10 catalog, a really, really cool band. If you've never listened to 10, please go out and sample some of this stuff and come back and let us know what you think. If you are a 10 fan, give us your top 5, your top 10, or rank the whole damn catalog, whatever you want to do. It's completely up to you. I want to thank Simon for once again and having some fun with us here on Sea of Tranquility, and look for Simon again in the very near future. In fact, he'll be back in a couple days along with Stephen Reed as we rank the albums of Eden's Curse, another pretty cool band that perhaps some of you may have never listened to before. So that's coming up next week. You can also catch Simon all the damn time on Sea of Tranquility, the webzine, where we have been on the internet for 20 years this year. Crazy to think about it. 22,000 album reviews. A lot of good stuff there. So if you don't frequent the webzine, please do. The link is right below, along as the link to our Ko-Fi page, the link to our merch page, and visit us on the web, like I just said, at www.seatranquility.org. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. But of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. For Simon Bray, I am Pete Pardo. Stay tuned. Just in a little while, Martin Popov is coming back on the show. We're going to pop on into the Funhouse for a look at some of our favorite producers. And then Sunday, we've got the next episode of Album Homework Assignment, which we'll see Martin and I facing off against each other with our homework assignments. And we're going to talk about the albums we've been given. And then, you blink and it's Monday and the Hudson Valley Squares are back once again. So thanks again for watching. For Simon Bray, I am Pete Pardo. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.